Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we have got our daily NBA predictions here for December 27th. And yes, a different setup. We're going to be like this for about a week, but I think we got this pretty handled pretty well. A new angle, obviously. Again, we're going to be on this side of the camera for a whole week. But yes, daily NBA predictions continue today. I'm pumped, man. I mean, we just came off a huge victory. Plus 170 hitting on the Detroit Pistons. Jaden Ivey, game-winning four-point play in Sacramento. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Like, that was big time for us. I'm just saying. Big underdog cash last night with the Detroit Pistons. We're looking for more tonight. Again, I'm telling you guys, we are going to keep fading the Sacramento Kings this entire season. This is the last day without college basketball as college basketball returns tomorrow. There are games in college basketball today, but the games are, I don't know them off the top of my head. I think it's Arlington Baptist is playing today against Baylor. I looked into that game. Arlington Baptist, guys, real quick before we get into the NBA predictions. Arlington Baptist is playing the number 25 team in the country, Baylor. Arlington Baptist is not even in the NCAA. They're in like I don't know, the NCCAA, I think. It's some Christian league. And guys, they're like 2-8 in that league. They're the equivalent of a D3 basketball team. Baylor might beat them by 70 points tonight. And then clearly University's playing Duquesne. I don't know what's going to go on in that game. But yes, I had to point that out for Arlington Baptist and Baylor today. It's on ESPN+. Why is that game happening? I don't know. But anyways, let's get into it, folks. And if you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Again, the college basketball picks return it tomorrow. The best bets return it tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Our NFL predictions were posted earlier this week. That is linked in the description down below. Same with our college football playoffs predictions plus the bowl games. I mean, as we speak right now, I think it's the Armed Forces Bowl, Navy and Oklahoma just kicked off. If you want my play in that, I'm taking Oklahoma minus 2.5. Really like that. A lot of people are on Navy. I don't understand it. Guys, we got an SEC school versus against a military school. Come on, I don't care how many guys are in the portal for Oklahoma. The Sooners should get us in that game. And also here is the full schedule again for our Bulls. Here, the next college football video will come on January 2nd. Okay, let's now get into the first of our 8 games today in the NBA, and we start things off here with the Orlando Magic taking on the New York Knicks. So the Magic are coming off that pretty bad loss last night to the Miami Heat, a game that they were winning, a game where they didn't even have to play Jimmy Butler, and the Magic lose at the very end. Tyler Hero with a game-winning shot for the Heat to put them over the top over in Orlando, Florida. The Magic are now taking on the Knicks. I mean, two of the better teams, honestly, in the Eastern Conference, obviously. Orlando, the 4 seed right now. New York, the 3. I think the question we will still have with the New York Knicks, but the Orlando Magic is going to be like, when is this team going to finally play like their injuries? Like, when are the injuries going to finally catch up to them? Because again, no Franz Wagner, no Mo Wagner. Who knows when Banchero comes back? Obviously, he's going to be the first of the 3 to come back. We expect both him and Franz to be back. Obviously, Mo's going to be out for the entire season. But when again is this going to catch up to the Magic? Is it right now? Potentially. I don't know. I would say yes if it wasn't for the fact they just beat the Boston Celtics on the 23rd, but they have now lost, 4 of 6 coming into this game here with the Knicks. It's the second night of a doubleheader or of a back-to-back. I think they keep this game competitive, but I don't think they win it. I think the Knicks get this one. New York, I don't love picking the Knicks on the spread. I feel like they keep a lot of games more competitive than they're supposed to be. Hell, the Spurs game, we cashed on Christmas morning with the Spurs. We got plus 9.5 in that basketball game, and San Antonio only lost by 3 points at the Garden. Now we're taking the Knicks on the road to have to go to Orlando and straight up cover that 5.5 point line. That's a lot. 6.5 point line. That's a lot of points. I do think the Knicks win it, but I think the play here, personally, I think is Orlando plus 6.5. I'd stay away from it. Again, I think there are better games today to bet, but I think that probably is the best play in this one, if you're going to play it, is plus 6.5 for Orlando, and the New York money line. Again, I don't obviously play both of those. I think the Knicks are the better team. You look at what the Magic are doing. Jalen Suggs is good. Cole Anthony's been good as well, but it's just, again, the injuries are going to finally catch up to the Magic, and the Knicks as a whole are just the way better basketball team. So give me New York to win, but I guess on the spread, I will take Orlando plus 6.5. Next up, we go on to our second game of the night, the Orlando Pacers. Oh my goodness, I'm messing up today. The Indiana Pacers. Indiana Pacers take on the Boston Celtics. The Pacers. That game against the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. Obi Toppin gets injured. It is what it is. But, man, I mean, we were on the Pacers yesterday. Like Detroit, they had about the same odds. Indiana at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the best team in basketball. It's the first time I picked against the Thunder, and the best player in the league right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all year long. And what happens, Shai puts up 40 and beats us. It is what it is. I'm not mad about it. Again, that's just how good SGA is. And then, of course, Detroit going on the road and beating Sacramento. But Indiana couldn't keep home court or couldn't win on their home court in Indiana last night against the Thunder. Now they got to go on the road to Boston. I will take Indiana to cover this line. I think it's too many, considering, again, the Pacers have beat the Celtics earlier this season. The Celtics have 8 losses, which, is more than they had a couple weeks ago, obviously. But their first encounter between Indiana and Boston, the Pacers did beat them in Indiana by 3 points in overtime. I don't think they've played since. No, they haven't. Now they play back-to-back games, obviously, tonight and then again on Sunday. This is a brutal game for the Pacers just because, again, second half of back-to-back. And I thought we'd turn a page with Tyrese Halliburton. I guess we haven't. Watching Indiana last night was really weird. It was like Andrew Nembhard was the starting point guard. Because Tyrese would barely touch the ball, and he scored 4 points all night. You can't win basketball games like that when your franchise guy is scoring 4 points. And again, we've been over this problem all year long with Tyrese Halliburton. I thought, again, we'd turn that page. He has been looking a lot better recently, but man, this game against Oklahoma City Thunder, the Oklahoma City Thunder last night was really frustrating. It was. I don't know. I think, again, Indiana was winning that entire game, then Oklahoma City at the end just pulled away, went on a big 9-0 run, and then the Pacers just really couldn't recover. Boston is coming off that bad loss to Philadelphia on Christmas. Joel Embiid obviously put a pretty solid game, and just Caleb Martin hit 7 threes in that one. It's just a weird game, but Boston is coming off of losing back-to-back games. They've lost 3 of 4 now if you include their loss at home on last Thursday to the Chicago Bulls. That's why I think the Pacers are able to keep this game within the 11.5 we're getting. Do they win it? No, probably not. 10.5, but still, do they win it? Probably not. I wouldn't be willing to lay the plus 400 here on the Pacers, but I do think they're able to keep this game within 10.5 points. So it's going to be Boston to win, but I will take the Pacers to cover the 10.5. Next up, we move on to Brooklyn, New York. We've got the Brooklyn Nets taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Kind of the same circumstance here like the previous 2 games. I'm taking the favorite to win outright, but I am taking the underdog to cover. Now, it's probably the worst I feel about any of these, though, I'll be honest. I feel better about, Indiana covering in Boston and Orlando covering at home against the Knicks. Brooklyn at home scares me a little bit, but I am going to ride the wave of momentum that Brooklyn built, obviously, last night going on the road to Milwaukee and winning, right? No Dame, no Giannis, but still a big win for Brooklyn going on the road and still beating a Bucks team that was expected to beat them, obviously. Winning that game by 6 points in a game that they trailed for most of that game as well. Again, we've been talking about the problem that Brooklyn has. Now, Ben Simmons is playing his first back-to-back, I believe, in years. And I saw Legion Hoops tweet this tonight. Tweet this. Oh, my goodness, look at Ben 10 is back. He's going to play back-to-backs. I don't know what type of media propaganda this is, but, it is what it is. Ben Simmons is playing tonight for the Brooklyn Nets. But no Cam Thomas, obviously, he's still injured. I don't know what the latest update on him is. He's still inactive. There's no, time to, exact time when he'll be back. Don't know if DFS is playing. I'd assume Dorian Finney-Smith is going to play. I think. I don't know. We'll see. He didn't play the Milwaukee game. Maybe he's playing the second half of the back-to-back. The game where, again, Brooklyn on paper probably thought they had a better chance of winning, but of course they beat Milwaukee without their stars. You look at the Spurs, back-to-back games, back-to-back losses, but competitive games against the Knicks and against the 76ers. I do think they go on the road here and beat Brooklyn, but I don't think they cover it. Again, 7.5 points feels like a lot for San Antonio. It's a team that is fairly healthy right now. They have no injuries. I think San Antonio, again, is one of the 10 top teams in the Western Conference. I think they are. The Kings obviously aren't in that. And I think, honestly, we'll see the Warriors drop out of that. I don't know. I truly think, again, right now, the Warriors are not one of the better teams. I don't even think they're a play-in team right now in the West, just considering how good that conference is. If I had to map out the top 10 right now of the Western Conference, I'd say the teams, obviously, there's 12 good teams, right? I don't know if you want to call the Kings good anymore, but, going into the season, the Kings were projected to be good. Guys, the teams I'd say are on the outside looking in right now are the Kings and the Warriors. The 2 NorCal teams I just don't feel great about. Give me the Nets to cover in this basketball game, but give me San Antonio to win. The Spurs are obviously just better, but with the game being in Brooklyn, Cameron Johnson's pretty solid. I think the Nets are able to cover this line, especially building off their win yesterday against the Milwaukee Bucks. Next up, maybe my favorite play of the day. We're taking the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road against the Houston Rockets. Guys, I've just been, I've been waiting, and I will cash in on this eventually at some point of the year. I don't care if it takes until, the Rockets lose in the playoffs in the 3-6 matchup when they run into the Lakers. I don't care. Guys, we are going to cash in on the Houston Rockets being horrible eventually. And tonight's the night. Minnesota Timberwolves money line minus 105. You can keep your plus 1.5 points. Don't take it. Just take the money line. We're taking the T-Wolves, okay? The Timberwolves building some momentum, obviously. I was kind of down on this team. I was, back-to-back losses to the Knicks, Warriors, and then in Atlanta. But hey, a win on Christmas on the road in Dallas. I get it. Luka got injured in the second quarter, and Minnesota was up huge, and they kind of just let that Mavs team back into the game, but obviously, again, Minnesota ended up winning it. We're taking them to beat the Rockets, though. The Rockets aren't good. I refuse to believe Houston's a good basketball team. Again, I've been saying it. I said it when they lost to the Thunder in the in-season tournament. I said, okay, they're losing to OKC here in Vegas, and then I'm waiting for this team to fall off. However, look at the games they have to play. I said this again at the time at the OKC game. I said, oh, they're playing the Pelicans, they're beating the Raptors, they're playing the Hornets, they're playing the Pelicans again, right? Again, I don't think Houston's bad, right? But I just don't think they're elite. Right? But what Houston's doing that some teams just don't do. I'm looking at like the Lakers, honestly. I love the Lakers, but this is what the Lakers don't always capitalize on. Hell, this season, the Nuggets losing to Washington, teams like this, right? They don't capitalize on beating all of the bad teams on their schedule. I say this all the time. The example I always use is the Victor Oladipo era Indiana Pacers. Those teams, again, they wouldn't really go far in the postseason. They never won a playoff series. But the reason why they were the 4 seed, the 5 seed, and the 4 seed in back-to-back years in the playoffs was because they were able to beat the bad teams on their schedule. The Hornets, the Wizards, right? Those bad teams, they would always come into Indiana, and the Pacers would take care of them, right? Again, when they had to play, the better teams in the league, obviously like the Cavs, Raptors, and Celtics would be a whole other issue, and the Heat would be a whole other issue, but they'd always beat the bad teams on their schedule, and they'd find themselves 4th or 3rd or 5th in the Eastern Conference playoffs, because, again, they've already racked up those wins against bad teams. That's what the Rockets are doing. Okay, I can't hate on that. I just think when they play elite teams, they're not good. Think about it. Look at all their losses this season. The Hornets, they did lose to at the beginning of the year. But San Antonio, Golden State, OKC, Milwaukee, Portland, Sacramento, Golden State, OKC. Those are their losses. Like, most of those teams are playoff-type teams. So, again, they beat the bad teams that they just beat recently. The Pelicans, the Raptors, the Hornets, they are beating those bad squads, the Bulls, when they played them earlier in the season. The Rockets do have a very tough schedule coming up, though. They got through that cakewalk part of their schedule, guys. I will tell you their schedule until the end of January, okay? Minnesota, Miami, Dallas, Boston, Lakers, in Washington, don't care. In Memphis, in Atlanta, Memphis, Denver, Sacramento, horrible but still. Portland, horrible but still. Pistons, playing good basketball right now. Cavs, Celtics, Grizzlies. That is their schedule until the end of January. The Raptors, by the end of January, will not be in the top 6 anymore in the Western Conference. I don't care they're 21-9 right now. They will lose a bunch of games coming up. And this is the start of it. Give me Minnesota. Give me Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. Guys, this team is due to go on a little bit of a run because, they've been very cold this season, but they're 15-14. It's time for the Timberwolves to start stacking wins, and this is where they get going. Give me the Timberwolves to go on the road to Houston and beat the Houston Rockets. Let's move on to our next game. We go to the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. We've got the New Orleans Pelicans taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Pelicans are absolutely horrible. Memphis 9.5. Yeah, this is not that, this is not tough, right? You look at the game Memphis just had yesterday. 155 to 126 at home. I get it's the Raptors, but putting up 155 points is insane. Good for the Grizzlies, right? This is a good team. This is a very good Grizzlies team. Where do they go in the playoffs? Again, the last time we saw a Grizzlies team that, finished very high in the regular season, obviously they lost the 2-7 matchup to the Lakers in the playoffs a couple seasons ago. Where are the Grizzlies this year? I don't know. But what I can say is that the Pelicans absolutely suck at basketball. Both these teams coming off second nights of back-to-back. Oh, that's another reason why I really like the Timberwolves. Rockets just played last night. Give me the Timberwolves on a day rest. Both these teams just played yesterday, and the Pelicans and the Grizzlies. The Pelicans obviously just got blown out by the Rockets. And then the Grizzlies are coming off that blowout victory where they scored 155, beating the Raps by 29 points. The Pelicans are just bad. They've won one game in the last month. Zion Williamson doesn't want to play basketball. We can check injury updates. So Zion's still out. He's going to practice, and then he'll be week to week. Who knows? Brandon Ingram's out for 2 more weeks. Alvarado is going to practice next week, but still week to week. They're screwed. They're still screwed. McCollum's just waiting to get traded. And I don't blame him, right? DeJounte Murray's kind of stuck. Trey Murphy's their best guy, but they're just not that good of a team. The Grizzlies are much better than the New Orleans Pelicans. Zach Edey just put up 25 points last night. Random, yeah, but again, we talk about how Jaren Jackson's elite. John Moran, obviously, the leader of the squad. Desmond Bane can shoot it. I like the Grizzlies a lot in this spot. 9.5. I don't care the game's on the road, guys. There is no home court advantage for the Pelicans. The Pelicans don't get an advantage anywhere because they suck. Give me the Memphis Grizzlies to go to New Orleans, Louisiana, and beat the Pelicans. Next up, we move on to Denver, Colorado, where we have probably the biggest matchup of the night, probably in the thumbnail. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Nuggets. I like the Cavs in this spot. 2.5 points that the Cavs are getting on the road, or 1.5 when I made the graphic. It might have shifted down to 2.5 in the last hour, I guess. Denver's not bad, but that game on Christmas in Phoenix kind of just pushed me away from picking them here, especially against a really good Cleveland team. Now, again, if Denver was able to win in Phoenix on Christmas, I'd probably be picking them in the spot at home against the Cavs team, which has been very good, obviously, this season. They're 26-4, but I probably would have leaned towards the Nuggets if if the Nuggets were able to win that game on the road in Phoenix. But that game just established, again, the same thing that we've thought all season with Denver. Yeah, they're going to be good on their best night, but the problem that the Nuggets have, again, is just the supporting cast around Jokic isn't that good anymore. Aaron Gordon, probably not playing in this game. Jamal Murray, game time decision. But the thing is, Murray has been very bad this season. He's so unreliable. The only reliable guy in this entire team, you can't even trust in Michael Porter that much anymore. It's just Nikola Jokic. Obviously averaging 31, 12.5, and 9.5. Again, the dude's a monster. He's probably going to win the MVP, even though, again, it should go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but that's besides the point. Denver is going to be lacking help in this game. Obviously, Jokic will be lacking help in this game. And what do the Cavs do? Obviously, they are just an all-around very good basketball team. We're talking Darius Garland. We're talking about their star, Donovan Mitchell. We're talking about the bigs and Mobley and Allen. We're talking about the bench as well. The Cavs are just the better basketball team. They're going to be able to go on the road and win this game. Again, this team's lost 4 times all season long. They're 26-4. Half of their losses are to the Atlanta Hawks, who pulled off a huge comeback, Christmas miracle comeback against the Chicago Bulls, who couldn't just miss a shot the first 3 quarters of that basketball game. Was really odd. But again, Cleveland's only losses this season: 2 against Atlanta, Boston earlier in the year on the road, and then in Miami a couple weeks ago. They're not picking up their 5th here in Denver. I don't think so, and I think they will go into the new year 28-5. I think they lose on New Year's Eve to the Lakers. Why? This isn't Laker homer. I'm not being a Lakers, homer here. They play the Warriors the night before. They'll win that game. Second half of a back-to-back in Los Angeles against the Lakers. Give me the Lakers. But yeah, I think, again, Cleveland probably go into 2025 with a record of 28-5. Give me Cleveland, though, to go on the road to the Ball Arena and beat the Denver Nuggets. Next up, we move on to a game here in Phoenix, Arizona, between the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. Give me the Suns. Yes, I was down on the Suns on Christmas, but the difference for this game is no Luka Doncic. Right? If Luka was playing, I'd probably take Dallas to go into Phoenix and win this game. I don't believe Devin Booker's back for this game, right? D-Book has already been ruled out, so no Devin Booker. Grayson Allen's got a concussion now, so he's out as well. But Phoenix looked good on Christmas. They really did. I didn't think they were going to beat the Nuggets. But KD, again, doing his damn thing. It's not a consistent way of winning, obviously, for the Suns. They're not going to be consistent just relying on this production every single night out of Kevin Durant, because obviously, again, there's only so much Durant can do, especially at this age. But against a team in the Mavericks that are going to be without Luka Doncic, again, it's going to be a Kyrie Irving, heavy scoring night, obviously. Derek Lively's a game time decision as well. But again, just the presence or the lack thereof presence of Luka Doncic is really just going to hurt this Mavericks team. Ultimately, that's why I like the Suns to pick this victory up. Again, yeah, Dallas fought back from behind in that game on Christmas against the Timberwolves. They were looking a lot better down the stretch. They looked like, maybe they can again overcome this deficit and potentially win it. But obviously, again, a couple big shots were hit for the Timberwolves. And obviously, again, Minnesota ended up winning that game. But I don't mind the Suns in the spot. This is more, again, I just saw the Phoenix Suns win. They looked better in that game on Christmas. Again, Booker should be coming back, hopefully, by the end of the year. They do get Golden State on the road tomorrow night, which, honestly, I might take the Suns. We'll get to Golden State in just a few moments here. But give me Denver. Again, KD coming off a 27-point night. He leads this team in scoring every single night. And, again, Durant's presence, again, or Durant just, he's a star, man, obviously. Durant's an absolute baller, again. Guys like Durant, LeBron, Curry, again, I don't know how much longer these guys are going to be playing, but it's damn fun watching them still. Give me Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns to win this game here against the Dallas Mavericks. They will get it done, and they will cover the 2.5 points as well. Next up, we move on to our final game of the night. We've got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. In the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, I am taking the Clippers. Golden State's screwed, guys. They're just screwed. They're screwed for the rest of the season. No Steph Curry tonight here against the Clippers. I assume Curry is going to play against the Phoenix Suns, which would make sense. Because, again, doubleheader, back-to-back. But, yeah, in this game, give me the Clippers. Los Angeles coming off that big win on the road at the Memphis Grizzlies. That was huge. They've had a couple days off now. Again, just this voodoo magic scoring out of the Clippers. We're talking James Harden. We're talking Norman Powell. We're talking, again, these guys off the bench that can just come in and hit shots in big moments. Batum randomly, Amir Coffey. I just think the Clippers are the better team. And especially, again, no Steph Curry. That means, again, it will be a big night likely out of Jonathan Kuminga. I think Dennis Schroeder has been he's been very mid for this Warriors team since being traded here. Let's just be honest. He's been very mid. Andrew Wiggins, all right. Draymond Green, a game time decision. I'd expect him to play, even though shout out to Draymond for the other night doing his double hook on, I think it was Ruri and Dalton Connect, doing the double hook and just pulling them both to the ground. It's very odd on a free throw. Gary Payton's also out a week. I know he's just a bench guy for this team, but that is something as well. The Warriors are just ice cold, man. I'm serious. When I said it earlier in the video, you list the 10 best teams in the Western Conference, I think the Warriors are the 11th. Don't think they're a top 10 team right now. The Clippers are simply just playing better basketball. The Warriors, again, came back, almost beat the Lakers, right? Good for them. But again, Austin Reeves, that big game-winning layup. The thing is, again, the Warriors are a much different team without Steph Curry in the lineup. Curry put up 38 points in the loss on Christmas to the Lakers. Now they're going to be without Curry in LA against the Clippers, a Clippers team that can really get hot and shoot it. Yeah, give me the Clippers to pick up the victory. Los Angeles, this line opened at 1.5. Obviously, with Curry being out, it has been shifted to 4.5. I still like the Clippers to cover, and obviously, we are going with Los Angeles to win the game as well. So that'll do it, folks, for our NBA predictions here on December 27th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.